Tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, presented by CW Motorsports, episode 84. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
That was kind of tough to get out. I'm getting out of practice here.
Doug has been gone, and we've been doing the vlog style stuff for the last few, so...
It feels weird to be in the studio, and that had become so just machine gun automatic for me to say it, and now I'm like, oh, what episode is this, and what do I say?
Before we started, Doug he starts to like take a breath to do Eminent Waste of Time, the intro part, and he goes, and he looks up, he's like, what? It's 84, right?
What episode is this?
Yes, 84.
What are we doing?
We're supposed to talk. Don't know what to do with my hands.
It has been yes. It has been an interesting year so far.
Oh yeah.
And I'm actually going to make it more interesting for you.
Yes, you are.
So we thought we'd get this out there at the beginning of this episode because we understand not everybody can make it through the full hour to the end.
Not everyone has that much pain tolerance.
That's a specific type of person that can actually do 105 minutes of this or whatever.
Yeah.
So I am going to be stepping back from Eminent Performance, not entirely, but you're going to be seeing a whole lot less of me over the coming months. Basically, I'm probably going to be going back to school this fall, which I know sounds terrifying to a lot of you.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying I wouldn't do that. I didn't even go to school when it was high school, so.
I think we've done some stupid stuff with Chads about your scholastic career.
Yes.
So that's going to be eating up a bunch of my time, and it's just getting to a point where it's kind of overwhelming for me, and I'll be on the podcast here for a bit, and we haven't even fully decided if I'll be ever leaving the podcast entirely, but you're going to be seeing a whole lot less of me in videos and at the races and other places like that.
Yeah.
So basically just starting a transition back where I'll be much less involved. I'll still be around. I'm not leaving you guys entirely, but you're probably going to see a whole lot less of me coming up.
Maybe that's better.
It's probably a lot better, honestly, but that's the big news.
So
Chad needs a co-host. Who wants it?
Hey, I'll take it. So that's kind of the real question: is what does that mean? Because I know a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? Is Eminent Performance going away? No, it is not.
No, it is not.
Is the podcast going away? No, it is not. Because even if Doug, kind of what Doug is saying about is, he doesn't know if he's going completely away from the podcast, is he's waiting to see what the school workload and his workload is like once all that happens. So I get that. It's not going away in any form. None of it is. Sunday Drive is still going on. That's should be starting here soon. We are just trying to get to where we don't have to put paddles and floaties on the Razor because it's not stopped raining ever. But anyway, nothing will change. The formats may change a little bit. If Doug goes away, I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me sit here and talk to myself for an hour. That's kind of odd.
I won't be listening if that happens.
No. So maybe format will change a little bit, but I'm still going to do something with it. There will still be a podcast in some form. We'll definitely have more guests. I've already had other people talk to me and step in and say, hey, I'm willing to help a little bit. But yeah, if you guys want to be on the show, hit me up.
That's kind of what I figured between guests and the race style vlog thing that we've been doing lately. There's opportunities where, I'll still be around and we'll still do just this traditional format, but I just figure there'll be a shift towards having other people on the show and other stuff like that. And there's definitely places that, I'm not leaving some unfillable gap here.
Right. Doug is replaceable. That's what we're getting.
That was never in question.
Speaking of the vlog style, we have gotten great feedback from all you guys saying that you all like that style of video.
I think it pulls you into the race. You can't be there for the weekend, so now it feels like you are.
Yeah.
I've had fun following them when I was overseas and other places when I couldn't be there.
Yeah. I had Will Lacina. He's out of Iowa. He's a big fan of the show. He messages back and forth with me a lot, but he said he really enjoys that. And I purposefully try and leave out the race results and the race, race video that I do. I try and leave that out. I'll put a little clip in just to show the race was happening during this time frame and the next cuts you see are to after the race. But what we really want to show in that is how all of us as racers and everyone in the pits and everything, how we all interact with each other. I mean, that we're going there, we're just hanging out, just having a good time is kind of what we're wanting to show with those and what our weekend basically looks like. There's a lot of stupidity and hijinks and things happen, but some of it we can't put on camera.
And it's funny how stuff like that just kind of, it was really born out of necessity from a weekend when you weren't there. And I didn't have an opportunity to record a proper show. So I'm like, well, we're just going to try something different. And sometimes the unplanned stuff works out really, really well.
And I think we talked about it, but we just never done anything to do it. And then out of necessity, like, I'm trying it. And
it's happening now.
And there we go. And we're off and running.
So there will be some changes at Eminent Performance, and there'll be some visual changes. We just wanted to get in front of that instead of you guys kind of questioning what was happening or wondering where I was or why is the show format a little bit different than it has been. And it's going to be different, but it's going to be good. And I am going to help fill in with Sunday Drive. I'm going to help with the filming and whatever else needs to be done there because that is way too big for one person to try and tackle.
Right. So I would love to give you guys a date for Sunday Drive. I really would. Like, I could start it next weekend if the ground was dry enough. If we didn't get any rain this whole week, I would probably try and start it next weekend. The problem we're running into, we're supposed to get rain again all week. And we had rain basically all last week.
We could change the name to Monday Mud Night.
It would be that. I have this feeling, though, I would be dragging that razor out with the tractor every time.
Fun. Yeah. No, it'd be a nightmare.
I so want to get that going.
We could have the SMR crew up here from Louisiana.
They would turn that field into a mud pit in a hurry. I have, what we call the swamp around my place, back there in the back section of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you that would suck those SMR buggies right down.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd get through.
It is bad back there.
I've seen big block trucks on 44s go in there and just bury it 10 feet in, and there is call a tow truck, literally. Nothing's pulling them out.
Yeah, it's really been a very unfortunate spring. In fact, MWXC was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And
if I can, I'll chuck some pictures in here.
There's a picture specifically of Barry Miller, and it's a close-up in the cage of him and his co-driver.
Yeah, Chelsea, his girlfriend.
You can't tell.
No, you can't. But
so it looks like, if you're just glancing at the picture, like two people huddled in a World War II bunker, like waiting to shoot Germans as they come across the line or something.
It's not. It's them after the race.
It's them after the race, sitting in their buggy. I mean, it is that bad.
Yeah.
And you still have to get the season in. I know, MWXC already postponed and had to reschedule one race, but you can't do that every weekend.
You just can't keep shoving them back.
You've got to run them or your season's never going to get done.
Right.
So you race in the mud. And it's cross country. You're supposed to race in whatever Mother Nature gives you, but Mother Nature has not been friendly.
No, there's a difference between, run in the conditions that you're given, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little bit of mud, or it's not perfect ideal conditions. But yesterday's race, as you've probably seen by the pictures at this point, it was not like a little bit, and it didn't even rain yesterday. Really, a little bit in the morning, but it was just all the water we'd had up into that point. It's just couldn't do anything with it.
I'd even seen Austin Abney.
Yeah.
One of his posts a couple days ago is, it can stop raining anytime now.
Yeah. It's just been, most of you guys are from around the area. You've seen the rain. You've had the rain, everything else. You know it. You feel the pain of it. But it's just not making for great, fast XC racing. It's making for mud bogs.
No, it's an absolute disaster out there. But I just kind of keep wondering what the summer is going to be like, if we're just going to continue in this monsoon pattern, or if all of a sudden we're just going to flip the switch and have
dry
drought conditions, and then we'll be complaining about dust races.
I don't know which one I'd rather have. I think,
I've said it before. I think mud.
I would rather have mud, because mud you can see.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to clear your goggles and clear your vision, but dust, when it's hanging in the air and it's sunny, there's just nothing you can do with it. You can't see anything. And it gets stupid dangerous is what it comes down to.
Yeah, you got people who just don't take precaution in the dust. I know it's a race, but you can't just go headlong in a UTV where you can't see.
Or
you hear
dirt
about
bike.
you hear about dirt bike guys counting,
Right.
okay, if 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 hit the brakes and turn, and sometimes it works out.
Right.
If there's a collision there, I'm not saying it can't be dangerous, but again, it's just amplified when you go from a 200-pound bike to a 2,000-pound UTV.
Yeah.
Moving at similar speeds. So it's really hard to cope with, and you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
The mud, if there's nobody in front of you and you get a clear shot, you're out of it, but the dust is always with you. So
Yeah.
But that being said, I think we're just tired of
We're done with
Can we just have
mud.
a nice
a normal race?
tacky track, not muddy, 72 degrees, sunny.
Well, the MWXC race at Chimney Ridge on Saturday was really nice for the side-by-sides. I mean, there was a little bit of mud in the low spots, but the track was pretty good. There's actually kicking a little bit of dust up in the open field where it dried a little more. It was good, but we've just kept having rain, over the rain.
Yep, it's time for a weather switch, one way or the other. Just won't be this week.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, MWXC, I can't remember who finished what, because they haven't posted the official results on the website because they're still out there racing today, and they won't until later tonight. But I know Matt Rowell made it out there, Barry Miller made it out there, John Barnes was out there, Devin Smith was there, but he didn't bring his buggy. He was playing Eminent Performance field reporter for us.
Nice.
He's got a live video out there. So
let me see if I can find some. They might have the live results, which are not the official ones yet, but
so it was a muddy race. And also, I think next week I'll have Steve Mueller on the podcast. He went out to Iowa with Cam Mapes, and they ran out there. And I think he ran the same place that Will Lucina ran and some other guys. So Steve sent me some video this morning. I'm going to go through it, see if we can't piece some of that together for next week's, and have Steve on to talk about how him and Cam did. I know they didn't have the best showing. They had some mechanical problems, but all in all, it's good. It's good for. So what Cam is trying to do, Brad, his dad, they're both trying to do this, is they're trying to get people in the buggy with Cam to, we'll say, coach him, quote unquote. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad driver. He's still a young kid.
just inexperienced.
Right. We've all been in that place. So he's got Cody Willenborg has rode with him a few times. Their friend Don has rode with them a few times. Steve has rode with him at least once. It might have been a couple times at this point. But to kind of say, okay, here's how you want it. Here's your thought process. This is what you should be doing now. You should be going fast now. Here's not the time to go fast. Don't let them push you and everything else. And we all kind of try and talk to them, but it's good to have that person in your ear when you're out on the track itself where they can say, okay, don't let them push you here. They may try and push you through the woods, but they're not going to pass you right here. Take it easy, run your race. Then when you get out in the open, you're going to have to push. And it's something that's hard to learn. I'm not saying I've learned it all yet either, but, you have to almost disconnect your emotions from the race because your mind and emotions are telling you're in a race, dummy, go as fast as you can. And that's just not how it should be. So,
yeah. Nope, nothing's posted yet, so I don't have any results for you.
We don't have anything. Whatever.
We got nothing.
Yeah,
We
whatever.
got AXCC results. We got some other stuff we can talk about too. But
AXCC was.
But before we
last
get
week.
to that,
Okay.
Before we jump into that, I do need to throw out a shout. She is not a UTV racer.
Okay.
She's a quad racer. But Paige,
Forget that. No, I'm teasing.
But Paige Berryman, I ran into her my first year announcing. She was racing youth. She ran adult last year, and she's running adult again this year, but she's focusing more on GNCC and national level competition.
Yep.
And she pulled off her first win in a national yesterday.
Congratulations.
Got the whole shot, led the whole race. I mean, she got out in front and just concentrated on putting buffer time in case something went wrong, and she was able to run a smart race and hang on out there and never got stuck anywhere.
Good deal.
And picked up her first adult win in the national series.
Awesome.
So very promising young racer, and she's more driven than most people you'll meet. I've always been impressed by her, so it's been fun to follow her this year, even though I haven't been as involved in the quad side of thing. It's been fun to follow her, and so I doubt she listens to the show, but got to give her a shout out.
Yep. So AXCC last weekend we were down in Park City, Kentucky is the actual name of the town. I was trying to remember the name of it. The track was pretty good there. Really, we say wide open. The problem is, if you guys watch the vlog style stuff from last week, the track just went away. We were hoping it was going to hold up better than it did, and it just went away.
It disintegrated, yeah.
I have a picture. I don't know, I'll post it on here. But it shows the ruts in the deepest spots, and it was, easily 1.5 feet deep ruts for each tire track, and it went away. They just rerouted around that, and that line, the reroute went away, and then they had to reroute around the reroute.
I feel bad for the smaller ones.
And it's not because mud. It's not because of rain. It was nothing like that. It was just soft ground from the winter that had freezed and thawed, and it hadn't firmed up enough yet.
That is no fun in a light.
No.
Not at all. You just don't have the ground clearance to cope.
No, there wasn't. Luckily, the lights run first in the AMs, so
yeah, they get first shot at it.
Yeah,
because they run it's not Pee Wee, but they don't call it youth. I can't remember what they call it.
They have a youth class, but they have a mini. I think it's
mini. That's the little Razor 170s.
Yes,
and then the youth race the 570s.
Right,
and then you've got lights in the AM
right.
in single seat, and then pro and pro-am and stuff like that in the PM race.
Right. The minis, that's what we're going to call them. I can't remember if that's what they call that class. They run a simplified, shortened track. No big hills, really. Just kind of easily negotiable for a little machine like that. The youth, which are in the 570s, they run most of what the adult track is, but not the big hills. They'll bypass them. And then the rest of the AM, they run the same track that the PMs run. So it's good. I do enjoy that series. I enjoyed the fact that they are giving the younger kids a place to get out there and race in a machine that we all know is going to be the future of racing, UTVs, because there just aren't many factory at all, really, producing race quads, and not everyone likes a dirt bike.
Yeah. Honda really owned the race quad market. You can argue about Yamaha or maybe the occasional Suzuki out there, but it's always 10-1.
Right. It is.
Honda owns the market, and they're not making them.
Right.
Now, there's probably enough aftermarket parts to keep the current ones going until the end of time, but
that's a lot of rebuilding.
It's at some point, yeah, it becomes an aged, dated machine, and
that's true.
Just is what it is.
So, yeah.
So it looks like Kyle Hart took pardon me, wish I could talk. Top honors out there on the was April 28th. Yeah.
Yep.
And Matt Rowell comes in second overall. Marty Hart in third. Jamie McCoy in fourth, and Austin Sealing rounding out the top 5 there.
Yep. The Hart, both of them. I think it's a father-son combo there, if I remember right.
Yep.
They were just hauling in the wide open. Now Matt Rowell was right there hauling the mail with them. I'm not saying he was slow by any means, but there was 1.25 miles from the finish line to the first time you jumped into the woods. That's a lot of open running.
Yeah, it is.
So it was a neat track. Just wish it hadn't gone away like it did. But fun. It was fun to get out there and watch, and fun to see it. We had perfect weather, enough to where I even got a little sunburnt.
You did, which is odd for you.
Yeah, it's really well. I normally get it the first time I really go out for a full weekend somewhere, and then I'm fine the rest of the year.
But some other names of note up there. Jason Watt came in 8th place overall. Colin Truitt found himself down in 10th, and Colin Truitt was the one who...
He was the one who initiated the bump on the start for the Pro Turbo line.
If you haven't seen that video, go check out our Facebook page, and you'll very obviously see it there. It's a nice slow motion shot.
I thought my legs were getting taken out. I really did.
You were way closer to the action than you probably thought you wanted to be at that point.
So what you don't see in that video is I was the one taking the video, and this video has been shared by S3 and several other people at this point. It's not viral at all, but it's definitely been shared around. But an S3 black buggy with blue lettering on it, I can't remember his name at this point, but whatever. He's coming in, he's going to make that first corner. Well, Truitt was trying to get to the first corner. He's trying to beat him to the corner. He couldn't get stopped in time. This is all kind of off the shot. You can't really see exactly what Truitt was trying to do. but he couldn't get stopped in time either at that point. He had just run too deep into it.
Yeah.
And he hits him right in the side and basically side pushes the S3 Can-Am X3 and kind of puts him up on two wheels. And the guy in the X3, this is all super slow motion. You can see he's already counter steering it and just foot on the gas, and the tires are all spinning. And the good thing is when the tires start spinning, it loosens the traction up a little bit enough to let it come down, and he just shoots and gone.
Yeah.
But right after that, what you don't really see is how close Matt Rowell came to me, because when that happened, it twisted and pushed him in, and he hit the corner pole.
Yes, he
and
did,
went
yeah.
over that. And I thought my legs were being taken out right there by Matt. And I sent him a
You
message.
almost got to go racing with him.
Yeah, I sent Matt a message later. I said, Matt, good job out there tearing up the field and for the awesome shots, and thank you for not hitting me. He said, you're welcome.
So some other names of note: Scotty Lawrence came in 11th, and Devin Smith didn't have a whole lot of luck out there, ended up 24th overall.
He had power steering problems, just repeated power steering problems.
Yeah, which is unusual because that machine has been dead reliable.
Yeah. To the point, so he's got a reset switch inside the cabin where they can shut it off and turn it back on while the machine's still going, and it'll reset the power steering. Normally, that's what he has to do. We all know a lot of these race machines, they have that. It was so bad to the point that he had to pull over, pull the key out, let it sit for a couple seconds, put it back in, fire it, and go.
He had to let the engine computer completely just
reboot. Yes.
And the Can-Ams don't start instantly either. I mean,
No.
it's got to go through a computer check, and you're in a race. That 5 seconds probably feels like an eternity.
Yeah. So there were also some fireworks. I'm going to leave out all names of this, but one racer who has been known to play a little rough, we'll say, he hit somebody in the back end hard enough that it bent the whole rear subframe of their X3.
Jeez.
And there is cage bracing tied to that also, so they hit it hard.
That wasn't a love tap.
No, and the person in the X3 who got hit after the race is looking for him. He is going to take his head off.
I can guess who at least the bumping party was.
Yeah, you're probably right. And from what I'm told, he couldn't find him at that race. I don't know why.
That's probably good.
He's looking for him at the next one. He's not letting it go.
There's no call for that. There just isn't.
Every racer out there will tell you the exact same thing. We all understand we're going to get bumped. We're going to get pushed. We're going to get bumped into the side, front, back. Sometimes you just can't get stopped. Even Devin talked to the same guy who's the one who got his X3 bent, and Devin slid up into him. He said, I couldn't get stopped. I tried. Devin apologized and everything else. And the guy who got his X3 bent said, I completely understand. He goes, I know the difference between I couldn't get stopped because it was slick right there and I just bumped you, or hit him pretty good. I mean, but he goes, I hit him. He goes, I know the difference between you just hitting me because you couldn't get stopped and you hit me because you wanted me out of the race and you were just willing to destroy my machine to do it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that.
One's racing, the other one most decidedly is not.
Yeah. The person who did the bumping, if this was their first offense, it would be like okay, he needs to be kind of taught a lesson. He needs to understand this. This is not his first event. It is a habitual thing that happens several times a year. If it was my series, he would not be welcome to race there anymore.
Yeah.
There's no call to destroy someone's $50,000 race machine because he thinks he needs to win. If you're that fast, get around me in an open section, or find a quicker route that's within the 25 feet to get around me.
Learn how to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to get around them. I understand everyone gets frustrated in tight spots. You can't make passes. And that's one of the unique features about XC racing is you have to be smart about
Your
where
passes.
You have to study the driver in front of you. So that way you know where they're going to leave you an opening. I mean, you might have to follow them for a lap or two until you figure it out, but that's what separates the men from the boys in XC racing.
Right. Pretty much every other racing sport out there that's not a wood-style racing, you can pass nearly at any point on the track, whether it's road course, NASCAR, and NASCAR, so I'll just turn left.
Yeah.
But you can pass at any point in any of those. XC racing, you really do have to learn the track and learn your competitor to learn where you can and where you can't pass.
Yep.
So
some other names in the mix there that you'll recognize. David Sauter, who's our contact up there. We need to get up there and see the factory.
We do.
He keeps inviting us, and we need to make that happen.
We do. Doug's hitting the microphone.
That probably made that cool sound.
I don't think it did.
Nah, darn. Well, I did. Jason Dehart comes in 23rd. Who else do we have on here that we normally talk about? Steve Mueller, 29th overall.
Yeah.
And that's probably all the names we normally... Barry Miller, 41st.
Yeah, Barry had some troubles, too. He had something going on in the front end that he didn't know what was up with it. So
he only made one lap.
Yeah, he decided, and rightly so, that he would rather pull over and drive it up into the trailer than have to be towed out and shove it up in the trailer.
That is a very, very smart thing, especially since he's funding his own race team. He has multiple machines he has to keep up now. I mean,
yeah, he just decided to pull in and call it good enough.
So,
but beautiful track. The next AXCC round is in Oklahoma, another long drive one. Yay! And that is at the end of May. I think it's like the 23rd, 24th. I think that's a late weekend in May.
That sounds right.
I'll say it's that. Am I wrong?
It is the 25th and 26th. You're close.
25th, 6th. Close enough. I knew it was the end of May. But yeah, we're down in Oklahoma for that one. It's only an hour away from where the Texas one was. So it's going to be like
so it's
11
way
and a half
down
hours.
there. Okay, I got you.
So the Texas AXCC race, the first one of the year, was all the way at the top of Texas. We were only in Texas by 20 minutes or something stupid. I mean, like we were off the highway when we crossed into Texas. And this one's just an hour north of it. So it's all the way down in Oklahoma.
Got a little bit of a haul down there.
Yeah, it's going to be a trip. It'll be good, though. It's still hopefully not going to be stupid hot. Nothing like that. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Man, at that point, that'll be round 4. We will be more than halfway through the AXCC season already. It's only 7 rounds.
Yeah. And we'd mentioned this earlier, but they tried to keep it down to 7 rounds because they didn't want to stop on top of...
Recording stopped.
Ooh, hold on, folks. Well, that was interesting. We're trying out a new camera here.
And it stopped.
And it decided to stop. That's far from the worst thing we've had. We've actually had entire episodes with no video, which is probably a blessing.
Yeah.
There may even be another one of those happen before this is done because we're not really sure why that happened. So
whatever.
Bear with us. There'll be a quick fade out and fade in.
Yeah. Magic. So anyway, I don't know. We were talking about something with AXCC. I've forgotten.
We were basically saying that they decided to limit it to 7
rounds.
7 rounds because there's so many other racing series, and the intent of AXCC was to help support local series, not obliterate them by just stepping all over them.
Correct.
So I think it also probably partly came down to, will this be successful, financially? It's hard to plan a 13-round series with your first year.
True.
Get enough people on board, even finding properties.
Yeah, well, and they did it in short time. It was short time to get that series
that went
up
from
on the fly.
Crazy idea to actually being a first race in 4 months.
Yep.
Which I told Andy Bridgewater, we were talking about that, and he goes, that's insane.
Yeah.
This is from a series owner.
Yeah. So next weekend coming up, Crossroads and Extreme both have something. And then the 18th, Chasing the Triple is, I think they're up around Chicago area is where they are for this one.
Yeah, because the next one's not until October, and that's the one down in Texas.
Yes.
So there's a huge gap.
Yeah, so it's...
And let's see, we also got IATVHSS.
Yeah,
that's
the
out
Iowa.
There.
Yeah, that's the one that Cam and...
Or IATVHSS, as I like to call it.
Sure. But that's where Cam went this weekend, and Steve Mueller went, and Will Lucina. And I don't have any results on all them. I think Will got 6th, I'm wanting to say. I saw some social media posts. No, it was Cam that got 6th. I don't remember what Will got.
By the time this airs, if you haven't seen it on our Facebook page already, go there now because we'll have race results for all this stuff.
Yes.
We're just waiting for officials.
Yeah, because they're all still kind of out in the woods, basically, and they haven't got back to post the official results.
Yes.
So all these results are basically what people said they got at the end of the race. Not that they're lying, but things can change. So, yeah, they were out there. Will finally got his car together. He calls his car Karen. I
Why
don't know.
does he call it Karen?
I don't know. I have
There's
no.
got to be a story.
There has to be a story.
Will, we need the story.
Yeah, let me know what that story is, how it got the name Karen. But Karen went on a diet. It's kind of funny because Will messaged me.
Is Karen a big girl?
Yes. She was a big girl. Will message me, and it'll just be like, Karen needs to go on a diet. And when he first sent me that, I was like, is Karen his wife's name or something? What's going on?
Landmine.
Yeah. But then he explained that Karen was his car's name, and he took and he cut the whole roll cage, a lot of the frame, everything out, and rebuilt it with lighter weight material, like not just thinner wall, but stronger but lighter weight material, whole new material, a new alloy, in hopes of, picking up a little bit more speed and everything. So this was the first race he actually got out there, and he was, 2 days until the race. He said he's got probably an easy 3 days worth of work to do. So
That sounds about right.
yeah. So he's going to pull some all-nighters and try and get it wrapped up.
I don't envy you.
Yeah. And the Mapes were doing some clutch work. That's kind of one of the reasons Steve went out there to kind of help. And
yeah.
he'd been working with them a little bit on some stuff. So he went out there. Iowa sounds like a long way away to you and me, which it is. It's only 4 hours for Steve.
True.
But to get to Steve's house is like 3.5 hours from here.
Yeah, it's a haul out there.
So for us to go out there, it's a trip. For them, 4 hours is like, that's like coming to an MWXC race, basically.
Yeah, he's basically halfway between the two.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have any real other results. We'll post them some point this week when we get the official results from all the different series. But
got a note here about Side by Side Sports' upcoming event and race registration fees.
Oh yes. So we talked about it.
So what would you pay to race for a weekend?
I wouldn't pay that much. So. Race fees, what is it? Is it $300? Is that what I put?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $600 for two. I don't know what.
$600 for 2 races. Because this is the one that they're doing a Saturday race and a Sunday race.
Yeah. So there's 3 rounds. Well, there's really 4 rounds. There's just 3 events, I guess is how they're looking at it.
There are 3 events, 4 rounds
is
what they're calling it. Yes. So Sunday is a separate round altogether.
Well, that's less expensive than the previous round, though, isn't it? The ice race?
It is.
But still.
It
salty.
is. It's salty. A few of the racers have kind of complained and griped about it, and I understand, but
everybody knew it was going to be expensive up front, and it's a pay a lot, win a lot proposition.
It is.
And this is the race, if you haven't been following Chasing the Triple or know what it is, you go up, look Side by Side Sports, Chasing the Triple, you'll find all the information you want. But they've got different styles of races. The first one was an ice race. This one is it's kind of a combination.
It's almost like a what's endurocross style.
Yeah.
Where
part of the track is paved, part of it's
not great pavement, but it's like, chipped up kind of pavement. So,
yeah. And then part of it's dirt, and
right.
It's just a different style, of course.
Yeah. And that's really what they were looking to do, is bring multiple styles of course. It's not all XC racing. The Texas one will be their XC style race.
Which, no offense to Texas, it's not really XC racing down there.
Right. It's kind of big. But anyway. So, yeah. Looking forward to seeing how that comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm curious to see the machine setup that people show up with for that race. I'm guessing by and large it will be a kind of a short course setup.
Yeah, lowered car, less suspension travel, all that kind of stuff.
Possibly even racing like the Hoosier racing tires as opposed to, the normal Grim Reapers and Dirt Commanders and stuff we normally see.
Right. I would bet you would have more tires like that.
That'd be interesting to see.
I agree. I think it'd be neat to go run. The requirements to get a machine in there are strict.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
They check your cage wall thickness. They bore scope your motor before, and you have to pass a bore scope test.
No kidding.
Before, and if you win, they confiscate your machine and you have to pass it after. And they safety wire and lock out your motor after it's passed inspection. So if you mess with it, it's tampered with in between inspection and race start, they know. It's legit hard inspection.
That's like NASCAR level stuff there.
Yeah.
NASCAR is famous for being just absolutely insane about their rules. You
Yeah.
know, if your roof line is 1/8 of an inch too short, then, you know, they chop your left leg off or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of they're really along the lines of what Lucas is, where Lucas, even if you have the mesh grid on well, you have to have the mesh grid in front of the driver and passenger space. There's no passenger, but the mesh has to be a certain size and a certain gauge wire, and your cage has to be a certain diameter, and the bars have to come through in certain locations, and if they don't, you don't pass tech and you don't race.
some people were legitimately scared off from running this series just because of the scope of what had to be done for prep and the expense of it. And the reality was you couldn't run the same car you could run the same car for all of them, but you were going to be mediocre at every discipline.
Right.
And really to win, you had to have dedicated setups. So
pretty much.
It's a very interesting series. It's just not one for Joe Blow on a shoestring budget.
Pretty much. So let's do the tip of the week, and then we'll jump to trivia.
I'm really interested in this one.
I
So
figured you might be.
I'd laid eyes on this about 3 minutes before we started recording.
Yep.
Tip of the week. What's in your glove box?
Typically, you just say gloves. But
That'd be an interesting poll. Who actually has gloves in their glove box?
I don't. So the reason I brought this up is glove boxes are really the only dry storage location in most machines from the factory. Some guys will throw a box in the bed or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're going out in the trail, and we'll start with you, Doug, and then I'll finish up. What do you put in your glove box that, it's your dry storage, it's your whatever. What do you take with you that you always make sure you have?
Interesting question. Stuff that has to be kept dry?
It doesn't have to, but it's just, stuff that you leave in there, basically. Because I know a lot of guys, when they go trail riding or something, then they'll come home, they'll take the box out of their bed. So it's something that's always with the machine.
Gotcha. I'm actually going to make you go first on this.
So you can think?
So I can think about it.
That's
Because
fine.
I have a list in my head, but I'm curious how it compares to yours.
Okay. So one of the things that is always kept in my glove box, and I found that a lot of people forget this, is crazy to me as it is I have the tuner lug style because my wheels require that.
Oh, yeah,
So
you're going to want that.
My key for those lugs is in the glove box, always. I will generally, when I'm going, I'll make sure I have a roll of paper towel, or at least a dozen of them or so unraveled off the roll and folded up and shoved in there. My factory toolkit is in there with the belt removal tools and that kind of stuff, the clutch compression tool that they have, so I can do that. What else do I normally keep in there? I'll throw my phone in there. Normally, that's where I chuck it, because I just don't need it next to me while I'm riding. Other things, a lot of people will put toilet paper in there, stuff like that. Most people, I don't have one in mine, but will put a first aid, like a small, we'll say wallet-sized first aid kit or something like that in there, just with Band-Aids, a wrap, some antiseptic, little things like that. That's really good to have in there. I try to keep a toe strap of some variety, but it doesn't always make it in the glove box. It just depends. If it's like one of those 6-footers, yes. But
If it's a big hefty one, it's going to have to go under a seat or in a different box or something.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I try and keep in there. Paper towels. I need to pick up a first aid kit that will permanently stay in there. I have another one that I'll throw in dry storage a lot of the times. But, yeah, cell phone, stuff like that. So
Interesting.
I'm probably not as well prepared as, I know I'm not as well prepared as others out there who they pack to the moon and back. But
My list is similar, but has some marked differences.
okay.
Paper towel for sure, like you said, whether it's a partial roll I can cram in there or whatever.
Yep.
I like to keep a few 1-gallon Ziploc bags just in case there's something I need to keep dry or something I need to put in there. Roll of good duct tape, like possibly even Gorilla tape, something that will actually stick. The
Yep.
99-cent Dollar General duct tape is not worth the cardboard roll it's on.
I generally put zip ties. I have zip ties in mine.
Yep.
I forgot about the zip ties because they're just crammed in the back.
Yep, zip ties. The other thing I'd like to have in a glove box is it doesn't have to be real long, but somewhere between a 3 and 6 foot chunk of very heavy gauge wire in case I need to wire around something or, hop around a stuck solenoid to get it started or do something like that.
Yep.
And it can be just bound up tight and thrown in there, but a good chunk of number 10 or number 8 wire that you can get around something heavy with if in a pinch.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's a great thing to have because I couldn't tell you how many times I have scavenged wire off of something, and just a little chunk of wire will save you and get you back.
Yep. So, like I said, 3 to 6 feet won't cost you a lot to keep it in there and could save your day.
Yep. Anything else you can think of?
That stays permanently in the glove box? Probably not, because by the time you get all that junk in there, you're getting
pretty tight
towards capacity.
Fair enough. All right. So it's been a while since you've done trivia, hadn't it been?
I suppose one other thing I might keep in there.
You trying to delay trivia?
Yes. Maybe I can just push this out to the...
No.
Oh, nope, there's no time. Extra cell phone cable of some sort, either for you or somebody who forgot theirs or whatever.
Yeah, I normally keep that in mind, but mine's normally in the center, not the glove box.
Yeah, well, this would be the extra, spare, because something happens or it gets lost in the mud or whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, you ready for your trivia?
I also thought...
No more things. Glove box is full.
Okay.
All right, question number 1.
Hold on, I gotta prove to everyone.
Phone's off. All right, question number 1. Stop playing with your phone, Douglas.
Sorry, I got text messages.
What controversial person had a key to the city of Detroit?
Controversial?
Yes, that's not even a word. I don't.
Key to the city of Detroit. Mike Tyson?
No, it's even more controversial than that.
Dennis Rodman?
Saddam Hussein.
What?
He had donated $500,000 to a Detroit church, and the pastor convinced the mayor that he should get a key. This is back in the 80s.
Yeah, when he was alive.
Yeah. It wasn't, yeah.
Wow, okay, yeah.
Little did you know.
So there's...
Saddam Hussein had a key to Detroit. Maybe that's why it was like it was.
Of all the cities, too. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Yep. All right, question number 2. The U.S. government conducted a fake vaccination drive to try and find who?
Fake vaccination drive.
I mean, they were actually vaccinating people, but it was under the ruse.
But they were trying to find a specific person?
Yes. It was under the ruse of vaccination drive to basically try and get this person to come out.
Okay, I don't know. I want to guess, though, so can you give me an era? Like, give me a decade.
It would be in the 2000s.
Oh.
So reasonably recent.
Okay.
It might...
Yeah, I don't know then.
It might have been the late 90s. It was right around the late 90s, early 2000s.
Jenny McCarthy.
No. It was Osama bin Laden.
Why would...
They went overseas and they were doing a fake vaccination. Well, it was a real vaccination drive thing, but they were trying to get bin Laden to kind of reveal himself and bring his wives and kids out to be vaccinated for free.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's dumb enough that he would have fallen for something like that.
It didn't work.
I mean, I just say what you want about the guy. Obviously not a great human being, but I don't think stupid is anything anyone would say about him either.
No. All right.
Interesting.
Question number 3. The U.S. government put what in industrial alcohol during the Prohibition? They put a certain thing in, like industrial alcohols that were used in manufacturing and stuff like that. And
I don't know, sulfur or something like that to keep people from drinking it.
I don't have exactly, but they put poison in it.
Oh, neat.
It did happen to kill a few people because they drank it.
So they didn't have denatured alcohol back then?
I guess not.
Because you can't drink rubbing alcohol. It's denatured. It'll make you sick, but nothing will happen.
Yeah. So
they put
poison in
awesome.
it, and it killed a few people because people were drinking the industrial alcohol.
Can you imagine if that happened today? The same situation in today's climate?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
All right. In the 1960s, the CIA had a plan to spy on the Soviets. It was this crazy plan that they actually did. It wasn't just a plan and not executed. What were the details on this crazy plan?
They had people infiltrate into the Soviet Union posing as vodka salesmen, and they would go door to door selling vodka.
I like where your brain's going on that, but it's not right.
Okay.
Actually, what they did is they put microphones and transmitters inside of cats and let the cats run free. The problem is the cats kept getting hit by cars.
That makes the story that much better. You have microphones in your cats?
No microphones in kids' cats.
No, Chad has microphones in his cats. It's exactly what I'd expect you to say.
They're spy cats.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Life was more fun 50 years ago.
Yeah. Can you imagine sitting around the CIA meeting table? Okay, we got to come up with a way to spy on the Soviets. How can we do this? And one guy's like, microphones and cats.
Would that work? He yelled to the cat, already did it.
I got everything you said.
Maybe that's what really took Nixon down, the whole Watergate thing, the cat.
But everybody thought, like, that's a viable idea. Let's put the microphones in the cats.
Makes me wonder what they're up to now.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to know. They've moved on to, like, microphones and bears.
Ooh, I want to be a part of that project.
All right. Question number 5. What percentage of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border?
Oh, high. Probably like 90%.
You are correct. It is 90%.
Yeah, you can't go much farther north and be human.
Yeah. Alaska.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Alaska's kind of tempered, though, because it's basically surrounded. I mean, I'm not saying it's sunny paradise there,
Right.
but it's tempered a little bit. But you get into, like, inland Canada and the north part, yeah, forget that.
All right. Question number 6. In a kidnap situation, your chance of survival goes down what percentage if you get inside of a vehicle?
I think your chances of survival, like, I don't know the stats you've got, but like your first encounter with a kidnapper, you have an 85 or 90% chance of surviving if you make a big ruckus. But if they move you, like you get in the vehicle or whatever, it goes down to like 20%.
So, and I'm not saying you start at 100.
Yeah.
Like, but your chance of survival goes down 50% if you get in a vehicle.
Yeah.
So, like Doug was saying, I mean, your chance of survival is 80% if they meet you out on the street and, you make a big ruckus. Well, if they get you to the car from that 80%, you lose 50% again. So
Yeah. That's why I've actually told my daughter, I was like, if somebody does try to grab you, like you are better off to make a screaming ruckus right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Because if they move you, it's not good.
Yeah, you're better off to do that. Better to look like an idiot screaming on the street than dead somewhere.
Probably no one will pay attention because there's enough other idiots screaming on the street.
They'll be like, it's Eminent Waste of Time. The screaming part, not the kidnappers. All right, moving on. Question number 7. What is New Zealand's emergency number? Like ours is 911, obviously here in the States.
0118999-88199-9119-725.
You're thinking of
3.
You're thinking of the
IT crowd.
I kept wanting to say The Office. That wasn't it. No, it is not that. So what is their emergency number? Is that your guess?
I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. Actually, no, it is 111. But because New Zealand's real nice, 999-000 and 911 also work because those are other international emergency numbers, and they want the tourists to be able to call for help also. So they've employed all the numbers.
911 was kind of a fail at the courts where I worked a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because you had to dial 9 to get an outside line.
Yeah, and then 911.
And then you dial 1. And the weird thing is the phones, occasionally when you hit 9, instead of going to the second, like I'm dialing outside dial tone, they wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So people would hit 9 and 1 to dial a long distance number, and they're like, oh, I didn't hear anything. So they hit 1 again.
And then 911.
Connected.
Hello.
And then they were hanging up. And of course, then the police are calling back because they respond to hang-ups. And so we had a bit of a problem for a while. We told people just keep dialing, even if you don't hear the dial tone, it's working.
Yeah.
But that probably happened 5 times in 1 month.
So funny story last week. So I got a new phone, and there's just learning curves. And I don't like some of the features on it. I do like other features. My phone decided to dial 911 in my pocket.
Neat.
Yeah. So they called, and I got to talk to them.
Oh.
They were okay with it. I was just like, sorry.
Life happens.
So anyway, question number 8. What is the best defense if a bear tries to attack you?
That people always tell you to play dead, but honestly, it's to make yourself as big as possible and punch them in the nose, I think, or something like that. Like, you want to kind of shock them into thinking, don't mess with me. Like, laying down, I guess, just invites them to toss you around.
You look like Meatloaf then.
Yes.
No, that is actually not the best. They say the best defense is to keep a large object between you and the bear, and always like a car or something like that.
Ring Around the Rosie?
Yeah, play Ring Around the Rosie with the bear, or a big tree. And the bear will, they said normally they're attacking because they feel threatened or something, and they call this the squirrel defense.
I like it.
But the bear will get annoyed, not angry, but annoyed or bored, and they'll just leave. So you just kind of play ring Around the Rosie with the bear like a squirrel, and they'll just, like, whatever.
I like that better.
They said, do not climb the tree. The bear will definitely catch you. Don't run. The bear will definitely catch you.
They might look big and ponderous. They're fast.
Yes. So, Doug's going to get eaten by a bear. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 9. Doug's phone is buzzing.
It's your dad.
Don't answer it.
I'll call you back later.
In a minute. Question number 9. Eggplants contain nicotine. Did you know that?
Not much of a trivia now.
No.
You've just told me.
But how many eggplants do you have to eat to equal 1 cigarette?
Eggplants do you have to smoke?
Smoking eggplants. There's no tax on those.
So how many eggplants do you have to eat to get the nicotine out of 1 cigarette?
Yeah.
27.
You were close. 20.
Wow. That's a lot of eggplant, especially since I don't really particularly like eggplant anyways.
Yeah.
So that could be like a new plan for people trying to quit smoking.
Yeah, just eat a ton of eggplants.
I was eating 50 eggplants a day, and now I'm down to 30.
50 eggplants a day is still only like 2.5 cigarettes.
I know. That's a lot.
All that egg. Just think, you don't have to eat anything else because you've eaten 50 eggplants.
Hard pass. I'm good.
All right. Question number 10. Last one. Americans consume how many jelly beans each Easter?
350 million people like jelly beans.
I hate jelly beans.
2.6 billion jelly beans.
16 billion.
Wow, was I low?
Yeah.
I could kill a lot of jelly beans myself.
Oh, I don't eat them. I couldn't tell you last time I ate a jelly bean.
I like jelly beans.
Don't like them.
I have a weird fetish.
Nah, yuck. They're not jelly. They're not beans. They're not good.
So there's like, there's the difference between wisdom and intelligence. Intelligence is knowing jelly beans aren't beans. Wisdom is not putting them in chili.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. I like chili. Don't like jelly beans.
Yeah. There's nowhere else to go with this except for to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Of course, we got our title sponsor, CW Motorsports. We've also got Spanx Fab on board there, TGM Off-Road, and Watch Communications, who is still volunteering to host our podcast and website and yada, yada, yada. And they will host your stuff as well.
Not for free.
Not for free, but you can get the first month for free if you use the code Waste of Time at checkout. That's all lowercase with no spaces.
Yep.
You can find us on the web on Instagram at Eminent Racing, on Facebook /Eminent Racing. You can find our website. It's just www.eminentperformance.com. You can find the video version of this show on YouTube. You can get the audio version on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
And Podcast Addicts.
And Podcast Addict, which kind of aggregates a lot of those.
Yep. That's where I listen most of the time. And down below us, if you see, there's a little subscription button and a bell button. If you click the subscription button, you'll be put on your subscriptions list, obviously, when we release new content. And the bell button, if you click that, you'll get notified whenever we release things. It'll pop up as a special thing. We would appreciate you doing both and liking our Facebook page, sharing things you guys find interesting with your friends or stupid. It's like, look at these idiots out there doing things. But yeah, go ahead and do that. That would be great. That helps us. The like and subscribe and sharing helps with YouTube because it tells YouTube that you actually enjoy the content of this video, and people who watch videos like you watch will get this video sent to them also saying, you might like this.
Or you might not.
Or you might not.
And regardless of whether you like jelly beans in your chili or not, thanks for riding along with us.
Thanks, guys.
Tired of screwing up, tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
What episode is this? 84.
84.
Okay. I've been gone long enough. I'm like,
You open your mouth and you're like, wait.
80 something.